Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Laura and this is my husband Mark.
Hello.
Today we're visiting Kings Canyon National Park. Yesterday we spent the day in Sequoia National Park. There are two national parks that are managed together as one park. Yesterday we went in through the south entrance and did all of the big tree things down in Sequoia area. We did not see a bear yesterday, so fingers crossed, we're hopeful. I wore my bear shirt from the Smokies. Hoping we'll get lucky and see a bear today. That's what we would really like to see, in addition to, of course, seeing some more big, beautiful trees and beautiful mountain canyon views. There is some wildfire going on currently over on the eastern side of the national park, so who knows what that's going to be like when we get over there, if the views are going to be a little bit smoky, hazy, I would imagine, over in that area. But our first stop in Kings Canyon is the General Grant tree. I take it back. Our first stop is at the Grant Grove Village. So we have the visitor center, the gift shop right here that doesn't open until 10 o'clock. It's almost 9, so I think that's when the visitor center opens. They have the Grant Grove Market, a little post office. There's a restaurant around here behind the gift shop, so it's a nice little spot here. All the things that you might need. We're gonna go and see what time the visitor center opens because I think that's at 9 o'clock.
Thousands of years ago, rivers of ice gouged their way down from the mountains, sculpting and polishing the massive granite rock, widening the valley floor, and shearing its rocky sides into sharp vertical cliffs.
That was a nice little visitor center. It was pretty small, not a whole lot of like exhibits to see, but it was neat, the little part that they had where it showed how tiny the seeds of the sequoias are when they start out. And then there was a nice little, 15-20 minute video about Kings Canyon National Park. So it made me super excited to see it. I got a little postcard in there because they had some souvenirs, and I got my magnet. We collect those everywhere we go on our trips. So there is another gift shop, but it doesn't open until 10. And I saw some cute like sweatshirts in there that I think I want to go get. But since it doesn't open for another 30 minutes, we're gonna go and do the General Grant tree trail first, and then we'll head back there, and then we'll head on into the canyon. Even though we just saw a whole bunch of these yesterday, I'm still pretty impressed. They're just so massive to see. They look gorgeous in the morning sunlight too, that red color. One side. Here we go.
How's your head?
I'm fine. It's like going through a cave with you. You have to duck. And I'm just perfectly fine. It's pretty neat. Driven through it. We walked through just like a little section cut out of like the middle of one, but never been completely inside one before. That's pretty neat. The General Grant tree is the third largest tree in the world by volume. It can hold 159,000 basketballs or 37 million ping pong balls. It's the widest known at the base. They explained it really well during the movie at the visitor center, but Kings Canyon is unique in that it is just this little part here that's designated as the national park, and then we have to drive the Kings Canyon Scenic Byway that goes all the way through the Sequoia National Forest until we get over in this part of the national park. And most of this whole big section is all like wilderness. So it's the High Sierra Mountains, a lot of backcountry trails. The PCT goes along here somewhere. And the only part that you can drive is just this little piece right here that goes to Road's End. And there's some like day hikes that you can do. We'll stop at the Roaring River Falls and Zumwalt Meadow. Mist Falls is like kind of the longer day hike that some people do. There is like an active wildfire in this area. So the area north of the highway in this section here, I think, has an active wildfire and is closed. But I believe we should be able to still drive all the way into Road's End and see some of the spots over on this section of the park. So yeah, it's Kings Canyon. It's pretty unique. And then all of this is Sequoia, all managed together as one big national park. It's extremely smoky and hazy today, but that is a spectacular canyon view, I'm sure, when it's clear. Stopped at the Grizzly Falls picnic area. It's very buggy. Just the kind of like annoying bugs, not the kind that hurt you. We're getting hungry, so we're gonna have our lunch here, but also it's a beautiful waterfall. We're officially headed back into Kings Canyon National Park. Our first stop on this side of the park is Roaring River Falls. Our next stop here is the Zumwalt Meadow Trail. The meadow was closed for restoration, but still really pretty to see with the mountain in the background. And this little area here is really neat too, all these like boulders. I kind of have to watch my step though. Lots of loose rock. Stop in Kings Canyon. We're gonna try to see how far we can go. Should for sure be able to make it to Bubb's Creek, 1.9 miles. Mist Falls would be nice, but it's a pretty long hike and we're starting pretty late in the day, so we'll see how we go. The parking lot for this trailhead is also known as Road's End, meaning this is that end of the road that I told you about, and the rest of this is all backcountry area. Mark and I just got into backpacking. We just did our first overnight backpacking trip. This will be like a bucket list for me, I think, to come back and do a couple days here in the Sierras, like the High Sierras in Kings Canyon backcountry. But not today. We're just gonna see how far we can get in here and see some more views. Mark is really hoping we see a bear. We see active bear warning signs everywhere, but have yet to see one. So Mark says we'll believe it when we see it. The camera's not doing it justice, but the way the rock looks on the side of that mountain, It's really neat. Just like Cascade Canyon that we did a couple years ago in Grand Teton, which is still, so far, my favorite hike that we've ever done. These mountains were also carved out by glaciers, and it's just really cool to see like the way that the rocks are formed on the sides of these cliffs. Very jagged, really pretty. The good news is we saw a bear. Bad news is I didn't get very much video footage of it, but it was still pretty cool to see. Seems like he was down by this water earlier because we saw people coming across the bridge that told us that they saw him, and he went back into the woods, and then he came down by this little creek bed, river bed, whatever this is. It's beautiful, this whole little area with the bridge, crystal clear water that's like got this greenish tinge to it. And then we saw a bear to top it all off. So I don't know what more you could ask for on this little hike. Buddy, you almost hit my toe. That turned out to be a beautiful little spot. We saw a bear. We've gone 2 miles in, and so I don't think we're gonna go all the way to Mist Falls. We're gonna go ahead and turn around and head back. It's 3:30 now. We should be able to get back to the parking lot around 4:30 that way and still have time to drive back through the canyon the opposite direction while it's still daylight and we can see the mountains again going back out. We noticed yesterday when we were leaving Sequoia National Park that the mountains look so different from one time of day to the next, depending on where the sun is hitting on which side of the mountainside. So looking forward to that beautiful drive back home. Well, to the hotel, you know what I mean. Oh my God, we saw another bear, or it might be the same one. He's walking towards the people ahead of us, so he's walking the same direction that we're walking right now. Wow, we either saw the same bear twice or we saw 2 bears now. It was so cool. There was like a little family up ahead and we could see them on the trail, and then Mark noticed that there was the bear. Could have been the... Oh, he saw the bear before he saw the people. I saw the people first. He was just wandering along the trail, kind of heading back off up into the mountains on the one side. We got to see his little bear butt and him climb up the rocks and go away. I was always like super scared to run into a bear on the trail. We weren't like face to face with it or anything. I feel like there probably wasn't the recommended distance between it either time when we first saw it, but there was enough distance, and he just honestly seemed very unbothered. Like, yeah. I think you can tell that he or she,
we were there at all.
Yeah, he or she did not seem bothered whatsoever that there were people on the trail. I feel like as long as you keep your distance and they're not showing any signs of aggression, they're pretty cool to see. We made it back to the beginning. It was a pretty awesome trail. We were just kind of doing our national park ranking, and I think this is easily up there in like 5 or 6. And it depends. We were saying like if you consider Sequoia and Kings Canyon as one national park when you're trying to like rank them in order, Grand Teton, I think, is pretty hard for both of us to beat because of all the moose and elk bugling and beautiful Cascade Canyon hike. But we said that this is really kind of gave us that like Cascade Canyon vibes.
Yeah, I felt like if we could have hiked a little bit further in there, there's the views going back in there. It seemed like they just kept getting better the further in you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do. So definitely a great place for backpacking in the backcountry. But since Mark drove us here, I'm going to drive us out so that he can take in more of those beautiful mountain views on the way out. So we're probably going to end the video here. We'll see you guys in our next one, which is 2 days in Yosemite. I don't know if I'm going to split it in 1 or 2 parts. Depends on how much we see while we're there, but it should be a good time. So come along with us, subscribe to see more. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
I think this is about the same viewpoint where we started this morning when we first drove in to see Kings Canyon, and how blue and hazy it was, and you could see like none of the definition on the mountains. It just goes to show you like what a night and day difference time of day can be. So now that the sun is on the west side of the mountains, you can see this side so much more clear. And from here you can definitely see where the wildfires were. That's the area we were just in. Just north of where we were. Anyway, that's all. We'll see you again next time.